And this question is from Mrs. Abraham's 4th grade class from Baker Elementary in Bentonville, Arkansas. And they participated in the Monarchs in Space program.
Terrific.
So, can you reveal to us what is coming next for us to experience with the Monarchs in the classroom? We'd love to be involved, and our students never forget the impact this program has had on them.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a very nice thing. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to have some kits available for schools that will be just like the Monarchs in Space kits that we sent out to 450 schools. And what we can use is the kit, and they can follow the development of the larvae in the kit just as it occurred on the space station, right? So it won't be the same as doing it in real time,
Sure.
but they can copy that and get a sense of what's different in their classroom from what was different on the space station.
Wonderful. That sounds really interesting. And I see, thank you, Arwa.
You're welcome.
And we also have the monarch butterfly with some milkweed.
Oh, it's our favorite plant.
Great. Yes.
I'm surprised there aren't eggs all over it. Look at that.
Yeah, probably
none
We'll
yet.
be soon.
All right. Well, here we have a swamp milkweed, and that's a very good plant for monarch butterflies.
Okay. All right, and then our next question is from Mrs. Allen Boyle's classroom at, Connequin Valley Elementary. And do you think that monarchs are dying so much that they will become extinct?
Well, we have to worry about all the life we have on the planet, because we're the dominant species on the planet, and we're doing a lot of things that aren't favorable to a lot of the species out there. And I think we really have to take advantage of what we know about monarchs and say, monarchs are kind of symbolic of what's happening. And
Indicator species.
Yeah, it's kind of an indicator species, and monarchs don't seem to be doing well right now, but and what are the reasons for that? Is it the climate? Is it a loss of habitat? What is it? And what the monarchs are telling us is that there are changes taking place out there, and we better pay attention, because all of that life out there supports us, right?
Yes.
We're not independent of all of that stuff out there. All those pollinators feed us, and they keep all this natural vegetation alive around us. And that natural vegetation keeps all the birds and small animals and everything else alive around us. So we want to pay attention to the little things out there, because those little things support us. And the monarch is simply symbolic of all of these other representative species.
So the monarch butterfly and other pollinators are sending us a powerful message.
You bet.
This question comes from Carol in Laurel, Maryland, and she wants to know, what is more important, the specific host plants or the genetics of the monarchs?
Oh, I would say, what's more important, the genetics or the host plants? I'd say it has to be the host plants. And so we really have to have the right host plants. And so what we want to do is emphasize putting the native host plants in the right places for the butterflies. That's what we want to do. We don't know a great deal about monarch genetics, but it appears to be fairly similar to a lot of other insects and a lot of other butterflies. There doesn't seem to be anything really special about the monarch genome or about the monarch genetics. So it's a typical insect. It has a lot of genetic variability, and yet that genetic variability does not have anything to do with its survival or its extinction so much as the plants having the habitat does.
Which depends on us.
Right, which apparently does depend on us, yes.
All right, thank you, Ottawa. Our next question is from Riverview Elementary in Farmington, Minnesota. And the question is, how do monarchs know how to travel such far distances without getting lost?
That's a good question, and I wish I knew the answer to that. And I love to have this question coming from Farmington, Minnesota, because that's where I grew up learning all about monarch butterflies in that very area. And that's a question that scientists are pursuing continuously. How do monarchs navigate? How do they set a course that gets them to Mexico? And we don't know that yet. We have a lot of clues as to what they're doing, but we don't have the specific information we need to determine why or how they set a particular heading. Because the monarchs coming out of Kansas in the fall are going at about 210 degrees, which is 30 degrees west of due south. But if you go down to Atlanta, the butterflies are going about 260. So each portion of the country, they're going in a different direction. And those directions are appropriate to get them to Mexico, but we don't know how they're doing it. And boy, would we love to have that answer.
We sure would, and we'll just have to keep conducting research and being citizen scientists to be able to figure all of that out.
That's right.
All right, thank you, Ottawa. This is from Mrs. Hawkinjoe's 8th grade class from Saraville, New Jersey. Why do monarchs have an orange color?
That's a good question. What monarchs are aposematically colored. Now that's a big fancy word.
Yes.
So it says aposematic means warning coloration, all right? So if you want to warn something not to fool with you, you get orange, black, and usually yellow, right? Orange, black, and yellow. And that's why monarchs have this color, because they're trying to advertise the fact that they feed on plants, like this one, that have cardiac glycosides in them. They have compounds in them that are toxic or semi-toxic. And so if you were to eat this monarch butterfly, no thank you, if you eat this monarch butterfly, you make you sick, all right? So you don't want to do that. So
No.
the butterfly, in effect, tells the predator, I'm not good to eat, folks. Just stay away.
Okay, very interesting. And I think we have time for one more question. Thank you, Arwa. Now, this is from Ogden International School in Chicago, Illinois. Can bees and butterflies transmit diseases to plants or humans?
We don't think so, but there is a possibility that viruses could be transferred from plant to plant by certainly by some insects. I'm not sure that butterflies have ever been implicated in transfers of viruses or any pathogens to plants. There's no indication that any of these things can be transferred to human beings by bees or butterflies, but there may be some evidence that bees will transfer some pathogens from plant to plant as they're visiting them.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, and this is from Conley Elementary in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Is it safe to touch a butterfly, or will that hurt the butterfly?
Well, it depends on the butterfly, and what you want to learn from somebody like me is how to hold a butterfly without hurting it, all right?
That's important.
Yeah, and if you grab it the wrong way, it bounces and wiggles around and you'll ruin its wings, all right?
Oh,
so you don't want to do
wanna
that, right?
No.
So you want to grab the butterfly just the right way.